On this week's episode of the Self Starter Show, we have Chaz Zayed. Did I pronounce that right?
Perfect.
Perfect. Chaz, at a ripe old age of 19?
19.
At 19, started his company, Awful. Awful grew for the next over half a decade to the point where Chaz was able to have an exit. Yeah, at 25 years old, he exited his first company. How'd that feel, exiting your company? How'd that feel getting an offer to purchase the company that you had built?
It was not as easy as people think. When you get an offer like that, people always like, oh, you just got to take it. But it was my baby. It's something you've put a lot of energy and time into over 5 years, right? So it wasn't just easy to give up because it's who I am. It's my identity. I am Awful, right? So, but a good entrepreneur knows when to pivot. So when the opportunity came, I looked at what my future would look like, what I wanted to do, and I decided, it was the right time to exit. And I still have a little consulting saved for the company, and it's still a part of me. I still wear Awful every day, or try to wear it every day. So no, it feels great. It feels great.
Amen. So where did it all begin? I mean, you didn't just have a clothing company. Where did it begin? You started the company when you were 19. Let's rewind maybe a decade before that. How did you get into that world?
Yeah, so I would say my first entrepreneurial venture was actually in my freshman year dorm room 6 months before I started Awful, and it was a quesadilla business. So late night food at Indiana. I went to Indiana University, and late night food, you just had to order pizza. It would come in an hour. It was expensive. Sometimes it came in cold. I was sick of it. I was tired of it. So I bought myself a quesadilla maker off Amazon, started making quesadillas for myself, and then my floor mates kind of smelled me out. And they're like, Chaz, can we buy one of your quesadillas? And I was like, okay, sure. Started flipping quesadillas, called them Chazadillas, and people love them. So much more, even my RA, RA, right, with the leader of the dorm was coming to me for quesadillas, and I was not allowed to have a hot plate in the dorm. So I was just really inspired by people just being happy with something that I created, and I love that feeling. And I was like, I could do something more sustainable than just a Mexican snack. So I looked into fashion, right? And the word Awful kind of came to me almost in a dream, but the word kind of just stuck out to me, where I was like, okay, I woke up one morning, I was like, I need to Google about this word. In the dictionary, Awful, the first 4 definitions are terrible, bad, all those things. But the 5th definition was full of awe. Because back in the day, back in the Middle Ages, awful was a good thing. Saying something was awful was very positive and bright.
Interesting. Tell me more about that.
So that's where I kind of pursued, the name Awful for my brand. The original name was actually Awful Waffle, and then I dropped that, and it was Awful Cloth. So Awful means full of awe. It's all about finding the good within the bad. So we're an optimism brand. If you are in a negative situation and you're just pouty about it, or just not too happy about it, you're negative, then you're more likely to receive more negative from that situation. But if you're more optimistic, if you think more positively of that situation or change, then you're more likely to receive positive from that outcome.
So growing up, were you always a positive kid?
I'm a happy camper always. Yeah, I would say I was I was a super happy, energetic. I'm still super happy, energetic.
You're
right?
still super happy and energetic, but to start a clothing company, there's an entrepreneurial aspect behind that. But you could have done a lot of things. You started a quesadilla company. Leading up to that, before college, was there any entrepreneurial bone in your body? Were you into clothing? Were you thinking about starting a clothing company when you were younger? Where did this all come from?
Yeah, definitely. So as a kid, I loved sneakers. I loved Jordans and LeBrons and Kobe's. So that was kind of my first taste on entrepreneurial ventures, right? Where I was just selling some of my old shoes and buying other shoes and then selling those shoes. Small scale. That was in high school. But I had this position on student council my senior year, where I was just a leader of the school. It was actually called the social chair, which in high school that doesn't make sense. In college it does, but in high school it was just the spirited leader, whatnot. But during that time, I was making T-shirts for my school and just merch for my high school. So my high school was Hinsdale Central.
This is the story we want to hear.
Yeah. So my high school was Hinsdale Central High School, and our mascot was the Red Devils. And we called our student section Red Devil Nation, RDN. So was making RDN merch, just beautiful red T-shirts, just selling them to kids. just having kids like wearing the same shirts at like games and stuff. And that was kind of like my first taste in like clothing and fashion. But I didn't pursue anything else of it. Just made school merch from like custom ink, essentially. But it was a good feeling. I love people just wearing my stuff. I wanted to like wear stuff that I wanted to wear, and it felt good. So that was like my first taste in like fashion.
And what's awesome with that is that it was a bespoke item of clothing or bespoke items of clothing for your school that you created. It wasn't just the generic stuff with, the school branding, the school logo, the school mascot. My senior year, our rivals, not just my senior year, our school rivals was Jericho High School. And my junior year, they beat us at our homecoming. Ooh. So my senior year, we were playing them at their homecoming. Now, our school colors were red, white, and blue. I had made black shirts with white writing that just said revenge on the front, black big revenge, and on the back was a drawing that my friend Abby had made of a bulldog with the body of a jayhawk in its mouth with the head on the floor in a puddle of blood.
That's sick.
It was awesome. Sick. So at their homecoming, on our sidelines, everyone's rocking the black revenge shirt. Instead of our red, white, and blue colors, our entire sidelines was everyone wearing the black revenge shirts. The cheerleaders were wearing the black revenge shirts.
And you led that.
And I led that.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
I made those. I sold those, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
Isn't it a good feeling where you're like, everyone's just wearing like something that you made, and you're like, wow, I did that.
And how impactful it was.
Yeah. And did you guys win?
Oh, yeah, we won.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and we got the revenge. We beat them at their homecoming.
Happy ending. Love that.
The funny thing was, it's like, so our junior year, us and Jericho, at those times, we were terrible at football. It was like one of the teams is going to be 8-1, the other one's going to be, 1-8, the other one's going to be 0-9. So like our junior year, I think we were 0-9, and then senior year we were 1-8 because we got that one win against Jericho.
You never played football though.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I did play football.
Oh, so you're okay. So you're on the field.
Oh, I was on the field,
and you made the merch.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay, so you're leading.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Junior year, I was starting running back.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and then senior year, I moved to tight end. Which tight end, wasn't as sexy of a position then as it is now.
Yeah. Because you had to do a lot of blocking, a lot of dirty work,
right?
Less touchdowns, perceptions.
Exactly, and being as a high schooler, the running back is a sexy position.
Of course.
Moving to tight end, like you don't have the George Kittle, the Travis Kelce, or even in the last few years, the last like 10, 15 years, the Jason Witten and the Antonio, like the guys who made it like cool.
Yeah.
This was back in like the early 2000s. It wasn't cool.
Dang. Sorry to hear that. Did you get a touchdown at least at
I never scored a touchdown on offense. I scored a touchdown on special teams once.
Nice. Oh, you returned it?
Yeah, I returned a block punt for a touchdown.
Nice.
It's my lone
Devin Hester action.
That's my lone touchdown in high school.
Awesome. Yeah.
So, Chaz, you were a social chair in your high school. You made shirts, and you got that taste. You got that taste of being a creator and touching the people around you and having that merch. At that time, it didn't turn into dollars, but it kind of opened up your eyes.
The school got the money,
right?
Unfortunately. And you would actually love this too. Besides the merch, this position, I was making content. I was making YouTube videos with my other partner. And his name is Will, and we were making like YouTube videos chirping other schools and just like making funny videos. They were called hype videos, and we were just like making fun of other schools, just like some silly stuff.
Do you remember the theme of any of them?
They were just like hype video, like we were just like trashing on them. It was like comedic, and it was like, I don't know, just like supposed to get you going kind of a thing. There were montage videos of football players playing and us talking. I'll show you some later. I'll show you some.
Amen.
You'll get a good laugh. They're goofy. They're really silly.
I love that. So you take that, you go to Indiana, you become the Quesadilla King, and then the Quesadilla King becomes awful.
Yeah. So the first few years, I was just, it was super small. So it was just myself and my business partner, Emmett Flynn, and he went to Fordham in the Bronx, actually, New York. So, but I went to Indiana, so I was just selling it to like kids on like campus, or we were selling them to people back in like Chicago. Super small like operation. We weren't big. We were figuring out the social media thing. In our head, we're like, oh, we have no competitors. There's no other student clothing brands out there. And also what kind of inspired me to like pursue like hoodies and t-shirts was I was in a fraternity. You're in a fraternity too, of course. And there was a lot of like fraternity merch. And it was ugly, and it was like just cringy to kind of like just wear out a lot. It was cool when you first got in, right? But I was like, okay, if everyone's just buying frat merch or SRAT merch, right? Like they could definitely buy like what I'm making. So there's like a market out there. So I saw that potential, and people were. And it was like a lot of colorful stuff. Like our first hoodie was like this bright yellow hoodie that just said awful with like a little flames on it. And I thought it was like the best hoodie ever because it was like so unique. There was no yellow hoodie out there. And then we transitioned designs and colors and what we like released. So that was like the first 2 years, like my sophomore year and junior year. And then 2020, I made 2 big goals: to become more international and to have high-profile people wear our merch.
What made you want to set these goals?
So literally, like me and my business partner went to our like local library in our like suburban town in Chicago, and we made we just got together and we were brainstorming like, okay, like how could we scale this after school? Like we're gonna be seniors, we're gonna be old. Like I had an internship at AT&T actually, so I had like a job, like a backup plan per se. I guess it was like my plan as of now because Awful was super small. We met in the library. We were like, okay, like these are our goals of like this year. It was like January 3rd or 4th. We're like, we want to do this. This is how we're gonna do it. We had like a plan to like reach out to certain people, and then we had a plan to kind of like market internationally. We had like one solution that fixed like both of those problems. So. During that time, I was also in London, England, studying abroad. 2020, so this is right before the pandemic. And I had like little cousins that told me that, TikTokers are big, get in touch with some of these TikTokers. And I was like, TikTok? What's TikTok? Like, it's like for young kids. I didn't know what it was.
Young kids doing dances.
Young kids doing back in the day. Young kids doing dances. It was like just dancing content. So I was like, okay, I'm going to look into this. Got on the app. Started going through it, and it was just like kids dancing. And I was like, okay, this is terrible. But I'm going to see who's out there that I could get to wear my hoodies. Found some people and reached out to people through social media. One of the first big people to wear our hoodie was actually Bryce Hall. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a TikToker.
He's got the hair?
Maybe, I guess. Yeah, he's got hair up
Young
there.
LA dude?
LA dude. He
Yeah.
boxes now. Well, I don't know. I don't even know.
No, I think he just did a influencer boxing event. I don't know if he actually boxes.
Something like that. But he was just like a dancer, like facey dude on TikTok.
Yeah.
He wore a hoodie, and we were getting some steam from that, and people were coming to our brand. And then we reached out to Charli D'Amelio, and she was like, yeah.
Charli of the D'Amelio sisters.
Of the D'Amelio sisters. And she was actually, at the time, she still was like the biggest person on the app. She was, but she still had a smaller following.
So how'd you get to Charli D'Amelio?
We reached out through social media, and she was like, yeah, she's a 15-year-old girl. We're like, yeah, we'd love to give you hoodies.
Interesting but like even being as big as she was, that there wasn't or did you pay to play?
No. So
right, so that's where for me it's like so impressive that she didn't charge you for wearing your merch.
It was a different era back then. It was like the wild, wild west because she was 15. She had no manager, no team. She had nothing. She had she was just running a TikTok page. She wasn't making any money essentially. So she wasn't making real money.
Right.
But we sent her a hoodie. I was in Germany when I sent it out to her, and then we got the call that okay, our program got canceled. We got to go home. We all went home, and then everyone downloaded TikTok. Everyone was like, okay, COVID, what is there to do? What is there to do during the pandemic? TikTok. Everyone got on TikTok, and then within the first 3 or 4 days of the pandemic, there was one day where I woke up to text messages from all these people. They're like, oh my gosh, Charli D'Amelio is wearing your hoodie. Like, oh my God, this is such a big deal. I deleted TikTok. I re-downloaded it, and I saw her wearing her hoodie. And throughout that whole day, she wore our hoodie 12 times and accumulated 300 million views from her videos. It was as much as a Super Bowl viewing, right?
Yeah.
And she was just dancing her hoodie. She didn't tag us. She didn't say anything. She was just posting content in our hoodie. And it was this hoodie, but it was a light blue hoodie with black stitching. And that's like our most best-selling hoodie, our most famous hoodie. And we gained a lot of followers, a lot of orders that day. We sold out really quick. I was like overwhelmed. I was like, we got to order more. We got to figure this out. Like, I got to scale now. This is like serious. And I had the time to do it because I was like in my basement, pandemic, right? And that was just like a really awesome thing that happened to us because after that, we had other TikTokers reach out to us. And then when we wanted to reach out to somebody, we had like the credibility where, oh, Charlie's worn our thing.
So you had other TikTokers reaching out because Charlie wore it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, of course.
Got it. Now, what did you do when orders started coming in? Did you let things get sold out?
Well, yeah. Well, the day she wore it, we sold out like completely, and we were like, oh wow, like this is insane. So we waited a few weeks, we restocked, sold out again, and we just kept selling and selling and growing during that time. So we released like a new collection. We had different TikTokers and celebrities like wear our stuff, like Addison Rae, Jason Derulo, James Charles, other TikTokers like Nia Sue, Anna Shoemate, and then we started having artists and like older people started wearing our stuff, like Dave Portnoy and like Jason Derulo or DK Metcalf, Andre Drummond, like just big athletes.
So why did they want to wear Awful?
So we reached out to them
because I don't imagine Dave Portnoy or Jason Derulo wants to wear Awful because Charlie D'Amelio's wearing it.
No. It's they liked the mission behind the name behind it and our designs and our quality. I think that was the biggest thing. And Portnoy, I mean, I'll talk about him later too, but we actually collaborated with him too on like Black Friday 2022. And we made a hoodie for him, but how that started off was we actually sent him. He did like these unboxings in his home and
during
live streamed
COVID.
them. And we sent him like this
remember.
rainbow, colorful hoodie. I almost wore it today. It's like our classic staple hoodie, and it was rainbow. And I was like, he's probably gonna hate it. It's too colorful. It's not manly enough. He opens it and he's like, oh my gosh, this is so sick, and like kept it and started wearing him in like pizza reviews. Started wearing him in pizza reviews.
Oh,
we got
man.
in contact with him. We got him like
That's good
this
karma
hoodie.
going your way.
I know. So he started wearing them. We got him this hoodie. He was like wearing this hoodie, and then, a year or so later, like we got in contact with him to actually do a collaboration piece for Barstool Sports for Black Friday of 2022. So that was really awesome, and that I would say like a lot of it was just like strategically reaching out and a sprinkle of luck where. We were lucky that he liked the hoodie, and then that made him like trust our brand.
Right, but I always say this, not just me, but you create your own luck.
Yeah, of course. So even with like Charlie and stuff, like that was, I'm with any person wearing our stuff, like it was luck. It was like luck, but also like strategy where I knew they were gonna get the hoodies. I knew they were gonna like receive it, and like we talked to them, but it was like whether they were gonna wear it or not, because we've never paid anybody to wear a thing. That's the thing. We've never paid anybody to wear our clothes.
Totally, and especially in the clothing game when getting things to celebrities, getting it to them is, all right, we can guarantee this, but we can't guarantee they're going to wear it.
Yeah, exactly. So and there's a lot of other celebrities that have never worn our stuff that we've like gotten in contact with, and I'll never say their names because they never wore it, right? But the ones that did have worn him, and most of them don't tag us, which is, I like that better because it's casual. It's like they're actually wearing it because they like it, which is really cool. Versus like if I paid them, they'd be like, buy this hoodie. And it's like, people are like, it's an ad, obviously.
So who is the number one celebrity that you've sent to that hasn't worn it?
It doesn't matter.
If you had to pick, you can't say one person that you gave it to that you're like, it still kind of grinds your gears that they didn't post. You don't have to say their name. Who are they dating?
I don't know who they're dating, but it's a guy. It was like a DJ. It was a big DJ.
What's their okay?
But also, I mean, we've had like Diplo wear our stuff, and Dylan Francis wear our stuff, and Jaws wear our stuff. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter because we don't at that certain point we didn't need them to wear it to be successful. It was just more for like myself to feel good and for my friends and family to feel good because when a celebrity wears the stuff, like I want them to see it because I know it makes them happy. Because they've been believing in me from like the start, where they've trusted me and been supporting me since 2018 over the years, even when my quality was okay, right? So for them to see it, it's like okay, it makes me happy because I know that they like some of those people and they love it. And
right, and depending on the person wearing it, affects the credibility to certain people.
For sure.
So I think back to with Siegelman Stable having Bieber, Future, Kendall Jenner wear it. It didn't hit as hard for a lot of people until Aaron Judge wore it.
Yeah.
So like those are Gen Z icons. Aaron Judge wears it, and you have an older demographic.
Yeah.
The boomers, big baseball fans who grew up where baseball was the number one sport in the country. Now the number one baseball player in the world is wearing it. Now it became that much more credible.
Exactly. So even when when this was all going down, I was like, Dad. I was like, well, my mom knew who like some of these TikTokers were, but I'm like, Dad, Charlie D'Amelio was wearing a hoodie. He's like, okay, like cool, whatever. He doesn't care.
Great job, son.
Didn't flinch. I was like, oh, like Jason Derulo's wearing it. He's like, okay, whatever. But then when Dave Portnoy wore it, I was like, oh, Dad, like Dave Portnoy wore it. And he's like, oh my gosh, like the pizza guy, like, oh my gosh, like that's a really big deal. Like, how did that happen? Blah, blah, blah. Then he got kind of interested. So, like, even when I bring Portnoy up again, because, like, he kind of, like, changed our demographic a little bit, too. Because, like, when Charlie started wearing it, we had, like, younger high school, middle school, college women wearing our hoodie. But when Portnoy actually started wearing it, we had a lot of dudes wearing it, like, older dudes, like, men wearing it. And then when we did our collab with him, like, it was a lot of, like, it was, like, college girls, but also, like, 40-year-old men. Like, there was, like, a spectrum because he brings in a crazy, interesting audience where it's, like, all age ranges kind of a thing. Kind of like Aaron Judge.
When you did the collab with Barstool, were they looking for companies to collab with? Or was it just this was the pitch and you were the one?
Me and my partner pitched it to him through Instagram. We, like, reached out. We're like, all right, like, Black Friday's coming up. We want to do this. We have this design. Here you go. And we just sent the message, and, like, he responded in, like, 7 minutes. And he's like, okay, like, where are you making it? Can you get it to our warehouse in Ohio? Blah, blah, blah. What are the costs? And we were just talking all these, like, numbers and specifics.
Via DM.
All through DM.
At any point in this, do you think this might not actually be Portnoy?
Well, no. We did think so, but we were like, anything we say, we're like, oh, we don't want to mess up because he's a stern guy. He's a very serious guy. So any, like, things, like, one thing we were, like, really shocked by was, which is what I learned later on, like, we're like, oh, so this is going to be, like, a 50-50 thing because we just thought we were going to sell it and he was going to sell it and we were just going to split the profits. And he, like, said, ha, 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 like, no, I'm buying them from you. And we were confused. We're like, wait. So we're not going to get any money. Is this worth it? Are we getting scammed? Later I figured out, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is called wholesale. Learned about wholesale through this deal. And me and my partner, like, worked with, like, the whole Barstool team with him. We got him, like, samples of, like, this, the pizza. I don't know if you've seen it, actually.
Maybe.
I could get you one.
You can get me a hoodie?
Yeah.
Okay, God bless.
I got you. But, we sent him samples.
You swear you can get me a hoodie?
Say it again?
You swear you can get me a hoodie?
I got you.
Nice.
No problem. And he got samples, and there was, like, we sent him, like, 4 different blanks. And he, like, wore this one blank out in, like, this pizza review. And he was like, wait, like, this hoodie fits. I hate this fit of this hoodie, blah, blah, blah. He, like, was, like, saying, like, messaging us that. And we're like, wait, no, you're wearing, like, the wrong sample. Like, this is, like, the one we wanted you to have. This is what we worked on the team with. And he's like, oh, okay, well, sure. Worked diligently for, like, 4 months. It was hard to produce. We produced, like, 3,000, 4,000 hoodies within, like, 4 months, which was really hard to do, especially in, like, America. And we got it to his warehouse, and the hoodie sold out within, like, 3 days. And it was awesome. It was a really good feeling. All of our friends and family were, like, shocked by it because I didn't say anything until the day it dropped, which was, like, Black Friday. On Thanksgiving, I was, like, after we ate, I told my family, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm doing this thing with Dave Portnoy, blah, blah, blah.
You'd been holding it in the entire meal.
I was. I just wanted to surprise him because I was like, I don't want to jinx it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was just like, I don't want to. I just wanted to surprise him. And just like, because then I was like, if I was telling people like, oh, I'm working with Portnoy, they'd be like, oh, cool, blah, blah, blah. And then if it didn't go through, then I'm like, oh, wait, no, I'm not. So I didn't want to be like a liar almost, or like just a yapper per se. Even when I first released my clothing brand, me and my business partner didn't tell anyone until maybe a week before. Even my parents, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna release this clothing brand. They're like, oh, okay, sure. And I didn't want to just tell people, oh, I'm working on a clothing brand, because if something happened and it didn't go through, then I would just look like a fool. Just look like someone who's yapping, and then I lose my credibility.
Yeah, there's two ways of looking at that. There's either the way that you just said, or speaking things into existence and kind of manifesting and talking about the clothing brand and how big it's going to be before it even exists. Some might look at as manifestation.
Yeah.
Versus the way you went, which was not wanting to talk about it because it wasn't real yet.
Yeah.
And not wanting to talk about it because it wasn't real. And it's two different personalities.
Yeah. And I'm very...
Do you think your partner, Emmett, do you think Emmett was the same way?
About what? The manifestation, of course.
Yeah.
Definitely. We both did, like, with everything that we, like, worked on and did. We just dreamed it. We dreamed it, and we made it come to reality, you know? But we moved silently. Like, real G's move in silence like lasagna. You've heard that quote from Lil Wayne? No?
Amen.
But we just, like, moved quietly. Like, even, like, when we had, like, a new collection, like, on our personal pages, we posted, like, maybe once or twice. Even, like, when I, like, sold the company, I just dropped one Instagram post. I didn't need to say anything else after. Like, we don't... The more I post, I feel like, the more people... I don't want to, like... that's not who I am, you know? Like, I love posting. I get, like, posting and content is super important. But for my personal page, I was just, like... both of us, like, we didn't need to, like, just push it, keep pushing on our friends and family, because I know they'll support me. And that's just... I have more to my personality than just my business, right? If I'm only just posting business stuff, then I'm just in a business account. You know, like, there's just more to me. So that's why. The idea of, like, moving in silence, where it's like, we'll post, like, if we dropped a collection or we dropped, like, or a celebrity wore, we posted, like, once, didn't speak about it afterwards, and just let other people speak and post and, like, do the talking. And it worked out really well for us.
It really did work out well for you. So you did your first wholesale collab, 2022 with Barstool Sports. Mm-hmm. What happened after you learned how to wholesale? What did that do for your business?
We learned how to wholesale to other businesses, right? So we worked with Solid Core, which is like this Pilates gym. I didn't know what it was until, like, we got in contact with them. Solid Core. We did stuff for Shake Shack. We did stuff for Vienna Beef, which is in Chicago.
So tell me what you're doing for Vienna. Tell me what you're doing for Solid Core. Tell me what you're doing for Shake Shack. What exactly are you doing when you're wholesaling to them?
Each one's different. So Vienna Beef, we, like, made a collab piece where we made this, like, beautiful Chicago hot dog style, like, hoodie. It's like this blue hoodie with this smiley face, hot dog in the back. They sold it on their website. We sold it to them for wholesale, and, like, that hoodie actually, like, sold out, like, really quick. Because people love, Chicago, we love hot dogs. Like, I love a good dog. But Shake Shack, for example, we made them pieces that they use for, like, their locations, actually. So it was, like, actually an employee merch. And it was for, like, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. And they had, like, this mushroom burger, but they needed a certain amount of pieces for, like, their, like, locations around, like, New York and in the East Coast. So that was, like, a separate collab. And they actually reached out to us because we knew somebody there, and they knew that we could make merch quick. Solid Core, they needed stuff for, like, Pride Month, so we made them these, like, beautiful, colorful Pride crew necks.
Now, does all this stuff say awful on it, or does it have your logo?
In the tags, they all said awful. But if it was a collab piece, like Vienna Beef or Solid Core, like, we try to put awful somewhere on, like, the hoodie and definitely the tag. Other, like, Roberta's Pizza in Brooklyn, we made them, like, hoodies. That was, like, a collab piece where it said, like, awful on it.
So leading up to a year after that first collab, when you had the acquisition, what's the sentiment within the company?
Sentiment as in...
Yeah, the sentiment in you and Emmett. Like, are you guys talking about acquisition, or are you guys talking about, like, how are we going to grow? Like, TikTok is growing. It's more of a pay-to-play version now. Like, what are you guys doing to grow the Awful brand to get it to the point of acquisition?
Yeah, definitely. So marketing changes, like, from 2020 to, like, 2024. Marketing has changed so much. It changes every single day. Even, like, the social media aspect of things, where we got a lot of organic growth, which is awesome and free. But then there comes a time where we need to, like, push more sales and grow, you know, through paid advertisements, through Instagram, TikTok. And then there's ways where I think the collaboration thing helped us grow, because that brought in different audiences, like the solid core people come into our brand or the barstool people come into our brand. It was like an interesting way of doing it where we made money and got free marketing from that too, right? I would say, yeah, I mean, I would say like a lot of it, like social media was like the biggest thing.
Of course.
Even like to the point where I was like, okay, I want to do like guerrilla marketing where I was slapping stickers like everywhere around like New York. Even on like my college campus, I was doing it too, just like slapping stickers. We were growing. Email marketing was a big thing too that we like figured out kind of late in the game, but a lot of it was through social media, paid ads, and there was a point where some stuff wasn't like converting as well. I mean, the acquisition thing was something that we talked about, and we didn't know when it was going to come or if it was a thing, but we talked about it. We're like, oh, if somebody were to come in and like help buy it or invest or whatever it may be, like we definitely should be open to the idea because, you know, it could change like trajectory, like make the brand live on and make us kind of like, you know, succeed kind of down the road too. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah.
I love that. And so
Thank
what now that you've exited, what's your role within Awful now?
Yeah, so I mean, we're still going through the transition process. So I'm more of like a board member consultant where I'm helping them with like all the nitty gritty details, everything from our website, everything from like Instagram, media, designs, whatever it may be, just like helping them with like that information, telling them kind of like what are customers like what's the right thing to do, what's the right thing to post, when's the right time to like release. How to make this stuff, how to like use our factory, how to like you kind of like just do the whole business essentially, and helping them for like the next, 8 to 12 months with that. So
got it. Now that's for Awful. Now let's talk about Chaz. What does the next 6 months look like for you?
Yeah, so I mean, I hopefully like I've told you before, I would love to get my MBA and go to MBA school because one, I miss people. Like being an entrepreneur is tough because I was on a super small team. And I'm a big people person, and I mean I get my taste on like weekends or weekday nights, right? But during like the day, it's tough because I want to interact with people. Like that, I like corporate people have like a lot of employees or friends, whatever you may call it, and I think that's like a beautiful thing because interacting with people is awesome because you learn from others and you gain from others, and gain as in self improvement or opportunities, whatever it may be, even if it's small, and you just have fun. So I want to be around people again. That's why I think the MBA is like the best step for myself because I could learn, I could work on like another business, I could gain that network, gain funding. There's like different entrepreneurial programs and fundings and pitch competitions and stuff like that I could like be engaged with. And I think that would be awesome to do and learn and fill in like those knowledge gaps from like my journey because
being around like-minded people.
Being around like-minded people because I think that's like super important because a lot of my friends work, corporate simple jobs or, everyone, I mean, I have a lot of friends that work like very unique things, whatever it may be, even if it's working at like EY or working at Google or working for on a fashion brand or doing their own thing or being an influencer, whatever it may be. I think all that's like beautiful as long as like you're super happy with that. And I wouldn't be too happy if I was just like in that corporate setting just after I'd had like this acquisition. So maybe down the road I could, and for a big company or whatever it may be, in a certain creative field. But I don't know. That's why I want to go to school, figure it out. Hopefully start another business along the way. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So hopefully that's like the plan of action. But the last 3 months, I would say I was like just focusing on like applications, ideas, just like relaxing because I 5 years like you get burned out from just like putting so much energy and time. Every day I wake up thinking about Awful, and then every night I go to bed thinking about Awful. No matter the day, the holiday, the occasion, weddings, funerals, whatever it is, I'm waking up and thinking about that. So it was nice to just like have a little break and like come back to like reality where I'm like, okay, like now what's next for me? What's the future look like for me? What are my other ideas? Real G's move in silence, exactly. I have like a little journal where I like put on like all my ideas, and I'm like, okay, how feasible is this one? Is this, is it doable? Can I do it? Like, why am I interested in it? Right? Why did I come up with this idea? So stuff like that, figuring out. Yeah.
What are you reading right now?
Book wise?
Yes.
I'm reading 2 books.
Okay.
One book is called it's like this little red book. It's called The Little Book of Common knowledge of investing. It's like a super simple, just like investing book because I want to be like more skilled in like that aspect where I know what I'm like. That's
Like
what
financial literacy?
yeah, more for like just like investing per se. So I know how to do it, but I want to be like more keener on it because I just when you run a business, you're just worried about that, and not worried about
hearing a 25-year-old say that makes me very happy.
Yeah, because when you're just working so much and you're not focusing on like your future and safety and all that kind of stuff and like making money in other ways, then you're gonna like regret it when you're like 30 or 40 because you're gonna be like, oh, now I have all this time, like I should have been doing this, right? And even doing 25, I have been doing stuff since I was like 18, 19, but even at this age, I want to be like more invested into it, more like keen on that, knowing more of the ins and outs and like what this means and how to like follow like a strict schedule every day, just on like the market and stuff like that, or just like small things like real estate, Mr. Real Estate right here. But then my other book I'm actually reading about Buddhism, and this girl kind of like put me onto the book and the ideas behind it. And I'm a Christian. Like Buddhism isn't like a religion. It's more of like just like a practice of like mindfulness. And it's really beautiful. It just changes my perspective on like life and like how to treat things and problems and situations. And it's a really good book. So
amazing. What's one book that you would recommend to anybody?
Anybody? I don't have one. Maybe the common investing book, the Little Red Investing book, is good. It's really good if you want to get more financially literate. It depends. I also like a good like nice sci-fi like fiction book, but I kind of like the real stuff. Like my next book that I'm going to read is like, this Rick Rubin book. Do you know who Rick Rubin is?
Of course.
Some people don't.
I've read the book.
That book, The Creative.
Creative Act.
Yeah, that's my next.
Creative Act is good. For me, I like the Creative Act as a middle-of-the-day read during the summer versus I like to do paperbacks usually in the morning before consuming anything. I like to go into a paperback. I had an issue reading that in the morning because it's a somewhat philosophical book.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a story. It's just a fat book of philosophy from Rick Rubin's mind. Mm-hmm. So like a sunny summer day without anything else to do is where that came. It was best for me.
Yeah, because I like that too because in the morning, if you touch your phone right away,
yep,
you're gonna ruin your day. It ruins your day already because you're already addicted to it. It's like crack.
Yep.
It's like you need to touch it. You need to check your social media feeds, doom scroll. It's just natural. It's like a natural thing.
Unfortunately,
it's a bad habit. It's like biting your nails.
That's why I like to read before even touching my phone.
Yeah. So I've kind of been like trying, and it's so tempting to check your phone. You're like, oh, I wonder who texted me or what emails I got and whatever it may be. But it can wait. It can always wait. And even before bed too. Even before bed, like not touching it is like really great because then one, it benefits your sleep, and then two, like you could have the right mindset before bed. Like you could think. You're like, all right, what can I do the next day? Well, what am I going to do tomorrow? What do I want to accomplish tomorrow? And what's going to happen versus seeing some cute little cooking videos or whatever it may be, which I'm guilty of too. But changing that habit, we all need to do that. Kind of want to get like a BlackBerry flip phone. I feel like that would be like the best
That would be
thing.
awesome.
Yeah.
Give me one word of advice for anyone trying to make it.
Yeah. So I would say the easiest thing you could do is believing in what you do, believing in your passion. And if you believe in that so much, other people around you will start to believe in it, right? You need to just believe in something enough where people are like, okay, I believe in that too. You know what I mean? Like and that's happened over like the last hundreds of years where Gandhi was like leading. He's like, I believe in this. And he got everybody else to believe in his idea. It's like, okay, we need to like break free from like the British, whatever it may be, or Buddha's ideas where Buddha just like did his thing. And he's like, this is what I believe in. And he believed in it so much. Other people, now there's Buddhism, there's Buddhist temples and stuff like that. Just believing in your passion enough where people trust you, you know? Like, I literally convinced everybody that the word awful means good. So, if you believe in that, sorry, that wasn't swaggy. Other people will too. Just believe in yourself. It's easy. It's easy. And then obviously just turning ideas into actions. Like, just stop talking about it. Just do it. Damn it. Like, people just have ideas like, oh, I want to do this. I want this. Just try it out. If you fail, who cares? Try it, and then you learn. As long as you learn, that's the most valuable thing too. No matter what you do, whether it is like you stub your toe or you lose $100,000, whatever it is, and if you learn from it, you'll always gain.
Say it again. Say that last part again.
The toe.
Everything. That last part.
If you stub your toe,
I need to hear that again. I think everybody needs to hear that again.
If you stub your toe or whether you stub your toe or lose $100,000, as long as you learn, at the end of the day, you'll always gain. You'll always gain. So when you walk by that door, you're like, oh, yep, I stubbed my toe last time. And you learn from that, and you don't stub your toe ever again. Or you put your $100,000 into something super risky, like you put in crypto just not knowing what to do. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I lost that. Like, now I know to do my homework and research and whatever it may be. Learning is like the most valuable thing, because by the end of our lifetimes, or closer to the end of our lifetimes, we're going to know so much and be so wise on those things. That's why everyone's like, respect your elders, or their elders are so wise, is because they've experienced those things in life. And it's important to like just try and learn and fail. Failing's awesome. Failing's a great thing. As long as you learn. As long as you learn.
Chaz Zayed, clothing designer, content creator. This guy is full of awe.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Of course, man. This guy's like family to me now, so.
Come here.
Yeah, I got you.